Yo, shalom. For everybody that witnessed what happened Sunday, complete, complete slaughter, complete slaughter of faithful to Gog. So, you guys lost somebody yesterday, and I want to discuss something. As we say, rest in peace, and we give some words of encouragement to the family of the victim. I want to discuss tanks on the ground. Indeed, a comment that was left on my channel, which may be faithful to God, with a burner channel. I'm not completely sure, but we're gonna read what this comment says, and we're gonna deal with it and show why these guys are having this confusion with genetics. And I can see it in this paragraph slash essay that was left on the channel, man. But by the way, rest in peace to Faithful to God. You know what I'm saying? My condolences. Yeah, that's probably his homeboy. And you can tell the rhetoric. Hey, he got to come to my channel to get his lick back, man. You know what I'm saying? He trying to come back like Lord Voldemort. It don't work like that, bro. Once you did, you did. If he dies, he dies. um, Let me share my screen, right? Check this out, y'all. This was left on the channel. Um, Couple days ago. Well, not well, yesterday. Someone quote like a whole essay right here. Can you guys see this? An entire essay right here. Abu, greetings to all. Very interesting show. Circa the 22 minute mark, it is noted that Ngozi believes persons with haplotype A or B could be pre-Adamites. If we are entertaining the possibility of people who do not descend paternally from Adam existing unto this day, that would entail they also did not descend paternally from Noah, which would entail a local flood, which some humans outside the flood zone surviving and having descendants alive today. That is a possibility. We would not have to push Noah and his sons back to the beginning of the human Y DNA phylogenetic tree. Rather, they could fall within a later subset of this. What's the issues with this? If you're saying a flood is local, if you're saying the flood is local, then how do you explain all of the animals, all of life being buried in sedimentary rock? The only way you can get sedimentary rock is water and basically mud. The only way you have mud is water and dirt. And we see these sedimentary layers all around the earth with dead things in it. Fossilization. We know these animals died quickly, and there's been a lot of shows and books written on this and scientific arguments for this of a global flood. So a local flood, the likelihood of a local flood happening and destroying all people, and the Bible, as you guys like to bring up the Bible, but you don't want to bring up the Bible in these instances. The Bible says Noah and his three sons repopulated the earth. All they need to repopulate the earth is if it's just a local flood. So this whole part above is garbled nonsense, in my opinion. Then he says, with that in mind, at the 17 minute and 4 second mark, and it's funny that you only mention this and not the part where Ngozi pretty much said what we teach about Jay being Japhet, which is, pretty much emphatic at this point. And we're going to get into that later on tonight's show. It says, with that in mind, at the 17 minute and 4 second mark, the gentleman reads a source, Sahakyan et al., Origin and Diffusion of Human Y Chromosome Haplogroup J1M267, which states that J1 may come out of an area somewhere in the area of northwestern Iran. the Caucasus, the Armenian highland, and northern Mesopotamia. It seems that Mount Ararat and or Mount Judy Quarto, where the ark may have settled, could fall within that broad region. No, Mount Ararat would be in Turkey. That's where Mount Ararat is, and that's just a theory. There's no evidence that ark settled there. That's what people say. We know about the mud drop, teardrop, where they go. And furthermore, if it even did settle in Turkey, all groups would be dispersing from Turkey, not just J1. You guys do not think logically. You guys just make statements. All right? And we're going to go into this article and read where the ancestor of J1P58 comes from. He does not come from Turkey, which would even help your argument if he did come from Turkey. So again, this is all garbled nonsense as well. Let's keep going. It says, in short, it seems arguable that Noah's descendants could have migrated downward towards the Levant from roughly the same area that haplogroup J1 migrated downward from. This is just all garbled nonsense as well. Noah's descendants. You're trying to equate Noah with J. So where do all the rest of the Middle Eastern populations and world populations come from? Now who is Ham, who is Shem? They all fall under the J haplogroup. This is the nonsense that this guy left on my channel. Come on, man. Hey, Abu, if you're watching, you need to jump on here and explain yourself on this. It says, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying this proves Noah and his sons are haplogroup J, but you're implying it. It says, nor would I claim J originates with Noah, but you're implying it. It says, but it seems to me that the prospect of Noah and his sons being haplogroup J is not absurd. So exactly, you're implying that. You're saying Noah and his sons would all had haplogroup J. No. He says, put in another way, in my limited understanding of a limited amount of data, the concept of Semitic J or Shem and his descendants being J remains potentially reconcilable with the biblical text. So you're going to make Noah J, you're going to make Ham J, and you're going to make Japheth J. How does that work? That makes no damn sense. You can't make them all J, especially if they're the progenitors of people groups. Exactly, Chemo. This nigga done made everybody haplogroup J. They don't understand genetics, so this is why they make these erroneous claims. It says, important disclaimer, I am emphatically not proposing anything along the lines of, as some say, J is a Semitic haplogroup, while E is a Hamitic haplogroup. Well, you're trying to say that J is not only Semitic, you're saying J is Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Makes sense of that. It says, while I do not claim to know Noah's haplogroup, but you just you just implied that it was J. I would assume that his three sons had the same haplogroup, which would mean that you imply all of them had J. So in a local flood model, it's possible they were all J, but I would also note that it's also possible they were all E. Are you guys hearing this damn jargon? Yeah, James, you got to come on the show, bro. Listen to this dude, man. Listen to this dude. Noah is J, and all three sons of Noah is J. So everybody's J. Thank you. Critical thinkers in the comments. So where did haplogroup A, B, C, D, and E come from? Not just that, all the haplogroups.
Tell me he didn't say that, bro.
Bro, I'm reading it on the screen, G. It's right there. Come on, man. These are the type of dudes that's on Clubhouse popping off at the mouth. This is the type of rhetoric that they teach. James, you see this shit? Come on, bro. You can't be serious. This got to be a joke. It says, on the other hand, if we preclude a local flood, i.e. we insist on a global flood, and hold that all presently living humans descend patrilineally from Noah, then Ham having haplogroup A, as proposed circa the 4307 mark, seems to imply Shem and Japheth also had haplogroup A. Let me touch on that as well. No one's saying Shem and Japheth had haplogroup A. No one's saying Noah had haplogroup A. What we teach is the same thing.
We had videos
Go in,
saying
James.
opposite of what he implying. No, I'm just saying we've both done videos and presentations arguing that A and B is Ham, D and E is Shem, and the CF lineage is of Japheth. It's like they don't even watch the videos; they just want to make a comment.
Yeah, exactly. No one's saying Noah will be the proto haplogroup that will later divulge into all three subsets of haplogroups, just like Nathaniel Jensen teaches that Noah brought forth three nodes of humanity. And we harmonize that with the AB, the DE, and the CF. That's how we harmonize it. There's no such thing as BT. That's hypothetical. There's no proof of BT, haplogroup BT connecting us all from A. All right. So it says, now that itself will not preclude the line of Shem later developing E or the line of Japheth later developing J. But it becomes difficult for me, at least, to imagine both. In other words, as both E and J descend from CT and BT before it, there's no evidence of BT. There's no evidence of BT. It's purely putative, hypothetical, speculative. So what connects all humans together is supposed to be BT, but we have no proof of BT. It says, within which of the sun's lines did CT evolve, unfold? Mind you, I do not claim to know the answer. I find attempting to reconcile the sons of Noah with the entire human-wide DNA phylogenetic tree to be a difficult puzzle. Well, that's because you're a dilettante and you don't study, and you've already made up your mind. This is called a loaded question, where the answer is in the damn question. The conclusion to your question is in the question. The conclusion is Noah had haplogroup J and all his sons had haplogroup J. That's the conclusion. This is called a loaded question fallacy.
And not what the biblical narrative would tell you. It would be as the last common ancestor.
Look, they always eating with their family, James. Greetings. I'm currently eating with my family. Bro, wrap that food up, man. Eat that shit later. I need you on here now.
For real, you can explain yourself.
Come on, bro. Now, we're going to unpack everything this dude say. First, we're going to go to the paper. We're going to the paper that I cited the other day. And I'm going to show you. Thank you, Mari. Ham could be A and B, Shem is D, and Japheth is CT. All the descendants are downstream. Exactly. It's pretty simple when we break it down, and we're going to go into it and show you why we say that. Unlike you and faithful to God that just make claims and read a Bible verse, and that's it. Hallelujah. Amen. May the church say amen and everybody go home confused.
They can't even read Bible verses right because they don't know the migration patterns in Genesis chapter 10, obviously.
Facts. So we're going to go to the specimen because you can postulate about a lot of things, but let's just deal with what we actually found. All right. Now let's go to the paper dealing with haplogroup J1M267 that he brought up, right? Here it is here. Now, I read the abstract yesterday, and he brought up the part about it where they posited being somewhere in the Arabian Peninsula, the Levant, and southern Mesopotamia. Now, where did they actually find the specimen? Here it is here. We'll get straight to it. We're not going to play no games. Haplogroup J1M267 probably evolved in a region encompassing North Syria, southeastern Turkey, and northwestern Iran 9 to 24,000 years ago. This is what they posit. Now, here it is right here. The oldest human ancient DNA reported so far belonging to this haplogroup originates from an individual who lived 13.3 thousand years ago in the Caucasus during the late Upper Paleolithic. This is where we find the oldest representative of this branch, haplogroup J1M267. This is where the Jews try to say they get their Cohen marker from. This is how they try to validate their Jewishness. But this has nothing to do with Proto-Semites or Israelites, because there were no Proto-Semites primarily in Georgia. You guys failed a geography class. All right, so now let's get the next paper. Let's get the next paper, because we're going to show you these guys fail geography. They don't know chronology. This brother the other day told me that, oh, you got the Natufian was Canaanite. There was no Canaanite civilization during the Natufian period. There was no Canaanite civilization during the Natufian period. You're mixing a Bronze Age city-state with a Natufian period, a Stone Age period. That's called an anachronism. Come on, man. You can't be this damn slow. And then you try to pretend to be wise on social media. Captain Goofy, man. Instead of Captain Planet, we got Captain Goofy. Captain Goofy. Captain Goofy. So where did we find this, man? Where did we find this this specimen? Let's get the paper. We're just going to keep going to scientific article after scientific article after scientific article. Let's go to the Chrome tab. This is from the paper that was cited in the last paper we read. Upper Paleolithic genomes reveal deep roots of modern Eurasians. J1, J2, you know, high frequencies of them are in that land during modern times. Let's read it. We extend the scope of European paleogenomics by sequencing the genomes of late Upper Paleolithic, 13,300 years old, and Mesolithic, 9,700 years old, males from Western Georgia. Where is Georgia at? What the hell does Georgia have to do? Because then he tried to equate this person that lived 13,000. What was you saying? Yeah, Russia, man.
Yeah,
he tried to equate.
You know what I mean?
Come on, man. He tried to say this clade came down through Abraham 13,000 years ago in Georgia. Then you want to say, well, you don't believe in the Bible. Nigga, where is that in the Bible? Can somebody give me the Bible verse where it says Abraham came down from Georgia 13,000 years ago?
this Bronze Age traveling merchant, 13,000 years ago, Neolithic. Come on, man.
You guys have no understanding. It says males from Western Georgia in the Caucasus in a late Upper Paleolithic. Male from Switzerland. When did Abraham come from Switzerland?
Sound like sons of Japheth to me.
Come on, man. Orthodox Moore. He said Noah was J. No, I don't want to hear that either J or E possibly. No, he put on there what he meant is J was Noah, man. And all his children would be the same haplogroup. Come on, man. Dude's goofy, man. That was goofy. I'm sorry. I can't bite my tongue on that. Exactly. Switzerland is in Scandinavia, man. This is why you got to read, bruh. You got to read.
So if Noah, I mean, everybody got to be downstream mutations of J. Where did D come from, man? I got to know this, man. I need this dude to come on here and explain this. How is that even possible? Come on,
and guess what? Newsflash, y'all. Like I told Faithful to Gog, yesterday before he had a fatal accident. We don't start our pedigree with Abraham. That's just childish. We started with Shem. We started with Shem. Thank you, I be praised. Haplogroup.
Hey, Josh, you told somebody else that too the other day.
Oh, Abraham came down from here, and we don't start with Abraham, man. The hell wrong with you, brothers? It's some of the most unlearned people on social media, man. But thanks to Ahai be praised. Like I said, he's 6th man of the year. Brother said yes. Haplogroup BC is a hypothetical haplogroup, just as Yashub said. It has never been found in any ancient specimen. Exactly. Once you understand that, you'll see that there's no connection between A and B. The only reason they try to say that because they have a higher mutation rate than most humans. If you read David Reich works, he tells you that. If you read Jane Herrera's work, she tells you that. Very school of skills, very pseudo. All right, so we're going to look at this map because we see where J1 was found. And we're going to look at a map because I'm going to take my time. I'm dealing with the scientific articles.
Before you move, I just want to point out that last glacial maximum, man. I like to point that out because it's key. Because once you recognize that as the flood, it lays the foundation for everything else.
Right, facts, James, facts. You got to start with the flood, the last glacial maximum, and the repopulation of the earth. D-Red says they don't know we got a whole working model. We're not just quoting from papers and books. Exactly. So from there, let's go to where Georgia is, because we got to help slow niggas. Because some people seem to think that Georgia is in Turkey, bro. Georgia is not in Turkey, bro. Georgia is above Turkey and Armenia and close to Russia. This is the stupidity we dealing with, man. Y'all see that? That's where Georgia is. Y'all see that? Georgia is above Turkey, man. If I can get a bigger picture of it so you guys can see it right there. Look at that. Boom. Turkey's here. Armenia's here. I can't say this country. Azerbaijan. And then the Russian Federation is above it. Are you guys implying that Abraham came from this region of the earth? Where are y'all getting that from? You guys are just making shit up as we go because you're trying to keep J1 alive as a Jewish marker. J1 is dead. It's over. You're finished. So now we know where Georgia is. I got to break this down to y'all like y'all kindergartens. You know what I'm saying? I want you to point to the map where Georgia is. Up here. Not in Turkey. So stop with that silly argument. And it doesn't even make any sense because if you're invoking the Tower of Babel and you're invoking the Ark landing, then you're saying all people come from there, not just J. Stop it. All right, one more paper, and then we're going to get into Josephus. We're going to get into Josephus tonight, man. I'm taking Yeah, man. All right. I told y'all I was gonna unpack everything this dude commented on the channel right here. This is from a paper. A finally resolved phylogeny of Y chromosome haplogroup J illuminates the processes of Phoenician and Greek colonization in the Mediterranean. What does haplogroup J got to do with the Greeks? Who are the Greeks according to the Table of Nations? Last time I checked, it was Javon. Watch this. In order to improve the phylogeography of the male-specific genetic traces of Greek and Phoenician colonization on the northern coast of the Mediterranean, we performed a geographically structured sampling of 7 subclades of haplogroup J in Turkey, Greece, and Italy. We researched 4.4 MB of Y chromosome in 58 subjects, obtaining 1079 high-quality variants. We did not find a preferential correlations of Turkish samples of ancestral nodes contradicting, listen to this, contradicting the simplistic idea of dispersal and radiation of haplogroup J as a whole from the Middle East. Let me read that again. Contradicting the simplistic idea of a dispersal and radiation of haplogroup J as a whole from the Middle East.
So let me get this straight, Joshua. You said that he said that Noah was haplogroup J.
Yes. He said that. It's on my channel. You probably delete it after this, but it's on the video too. So, but right here it tells you right here that we did not find a preferential correlations of Turkish samples to ancestral nodes. Contradicting, and node just mean a branch, man, a branch of haplogroup J. Contradicting the simplistic idea of a dispersal and radiation of haplogroup J as a whole from the Middle East. So these people saying it started in the Middle East and radiated from the Middle East, that's not what the scientific papers are coming to a conclusion on, because they see it in the ancient Greeks, because they see it in the ancient Italian people. It says, upon calibration with an ancient haplogroup J chromosomes, we confirm that signs of Holocenic haplogroup J radiations are subtle and date mainly to the Bronze Age. That's when we start seeing haplogroup J moving into the Middle East and to where they are today, in the Bronze Age. And as we pointed out yesterday, who was there prior to the Bronze Age? The Copper Age, our people. And this is what's eating these people up, man. And last time I checked, Shem was not the progenitors of the Greeks. Shem was not the progenitors of the Italians, man.
I thought Japheth spit out Kittim and Javon.
Hey, that's what I thought. The brother said I was atheist. I don't believe in the Bible, but it sounds like they don't believe in the narrative.
You know, it ain't that they don't believe; they just ignorant. They don't understand the Table of Nations. They don't understand geography, like you said. But we're gonna educate them tonight.
Yeah. This is gonna be pure education for them brothers. It says we pinpointed 7 variants which could potentially unveil star clusters of sequences indicative of local expansions by directly genotyping these variants in haplogroup J carriers and complementing with published resequenced chromosomes. We provide strong temporal and distributional evidence for markers of the Greek settlement of Magna Graecia. The Greek settlement of Magna Graecia, J2A L397, and Phoenician migrations. So wait a minute. Now we're going to go to Josephus. We're going to go to Josephus and see who the Greeks are. Because if the Greeks got haplogroup J, then that would mean anyone else having haplogroup J will have to be that son of Ham. I mean, a son of Japheth, the son that came from Noah, meaning Japheth. They would have to be them.
Don't forget to check and see who the Kittim is. Oh, and don't forget the Medes too, because in Neolithic Iran they had them J markers too, and that's where the Medes were.
Exactly.
Who all them descend from?
Exactly. Come on, man. Now we're gonna pull up Josephus, man. Step by step. We're gonna take our time with this ass whooping, man. Let me pull it up. All right, so here's Josephus. Before, I don't even want to get into Shem yet. Because once we read Shem, it's gonna hurt your damn heart. Let's go back. Let's go to Japheth. Children of Ham. Chapter 6. Can y'all see that? How every nation was denominated from their first inhabitants.
Yeah, we see that.
So if we want to know who the sons of Japhet is, we got to find out where they first inhabited, and then look at the DNA there. Look at the ancient skeletal remains and see what the DNA is, and we can easily find and map out the sons of Noah, the three sons of Noah, and that's how we came up with AB being Ham, DE being Shem, and CF lineages being Japhet.
Exactly, because that's the only logical way to go about doing it.
Watch this. It says, now they were the grandchildren of Noah, in honor of whom names were imposed on the nations by those that first seized upon them. Japhet, the son of Noah, had 7 sons. They inhabited so that the beginning at the mountains, Taurus and Amanus, they proceeded along Asia, as far as Tanis, and along Europe to Cadiz. So these people would have been the first ones in Europe and Cadiz in Spain. It says, in settling themselves on the lands which they light upon. So when we read earlier that they had a J mark ancient relative in Switzerland, who would be the first people?
Sound like the sons of Japhet to me.
Yeah. It says, in settling themselves on the lands which they light upon, which none had inhabited before. They called the nations by their own names. Wait a minute. Shedman lived in Europe, Mesolithic Europe. He was haplogroup I2. Haplogroup I is the brother to J. So if they're brothers and they share the same ancestral father, they both would have to be Japhet according to Josephus.
Yep, because they are both in Japhetic region. First people to inhabit there.
Come on, man. Gomer founded those whom the Greeks now call the Galatians, but were then called the Gomerites. Magog founded those from him were named the Magagites, but who are by the Greeks called the Scythians. And we know these people got J, H, G, I. These people are clearly the sons of Japhet. None of these people are Shem.
Huh?
CF lineages. It says, now as to Javan and Madai, the sons of Japhet, from Madai came the Madians, who are called the Medes. That's what James just brought up. We know the Medes. We know who they are. They were called the Medes by the Greeks, but from Javan, Ionia, and all the Grecians. Wait a minute. We know the Grecians had J markers. We just read it in the scientific peer-reviewed article. They had J markers. So wait a minute. If the ancient Greeks who have J markers come from Japhet, then a logical deduction would say that anyone who has J markers would also have to come from Japhet. Because what does haplogroup mean? A group of people that share a common ancestor. That's the definition of a haplogroup. Who's the common ancestor according to the biblical model? Japhet. Who are the first people to inhabit Europe? Japhet. Scandinavia.
You saying
Japhet.
just with the Greeks, that ain't even combining it like we were saying just with the Medes, you know what I'm saying, with Kittim, with Italy. That ain't combining with Cheddar Man like we just mentioned, which is the brother Clade that's up in Britain. Come on now, when you put all that together, you gotta say Japhet. There ain't nowhere else to go.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Right.
You ain't seeing no A's, no B's, no E's up there. No D. Nah. The majority of what we find in there is CF lineages, which makes that Japhetic lineage.
Right. And this is how we built this model. You understand? We know who the Cushites were. Haplogroup AM13. So we put A and B as that cluster as the children of Ham. All right. We know who DE is because we got the Natufian population skeletal remains in haplogroups. And they all got E markers.
Basal Eurasian, all E markers.
Come on, man. A brother came on here, Ivri came on here and did a whole 5-part series giving nothing but straight fire on that. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all say, well, the Natufians, well, here, no, the Natufians stretch from the Negev, which is south of Israel, all the way to northern Syria, man. That's just a fact. And when we read about Shem's descendants in the book of Josephus, that's pretty much our stomping ground. Notice nowhere in the book of Josephus it says that Shem was in Georgia.
Or in
You
Kitchener.
goofy ass niggas, man.
Or in Greece. Come on, man.
This is so goofy, man. Like you gotta, the amount of special pleading you have to do to say some of the shit you guys say. it just come on, man.
Or the
All
amount of ignorance you have, which makes you a damn fool to speak on something you don't know nothing about.
Facts. Now, from there, I'm going to go back to Josephus, y'all. I'm going to go back to Josephus. Now, we all established, everyone that's watching here, we all established the Japhites would have CF FM89 lineages. They would have haplogroup I, G, H, J. We expect them to have those haplogroups. And all the ones that come after it, P, Q, and R, all of them would be Japhet. Because if Josephus' account is true, the first Europeans would be Japhites. The first Greeks, Japhites. We just read 3 articles and had to show you a map because some people don't know where the hell Georgia is, apparently. All right. Let me share my PowerPoint now. I did this a couple weeks ago. Maybe this flew over some people's heads. And James, by the way, did a whole breakdown on the Japhite lineages, man. Go back and refer to his video. Watch this. Japhetic lineages, i.e. the early Europeans. The FN89 population represents the main out of Africa migration of our species. Descendant populations of the FM89 group terminate in the following mutations. M423, the Balkan I group. M26, the Sardinian I group. M223, the Central European I group. Now, I is the brother to J. The Scandinavian I group. JM172, Near Eastern J group. GM201, Caucasus G group. Pheno-Baltic N group is NM178, and RM269, Western European R group, RM17, Eastern European R group. All of these haplogroups are descendants of FN89. All of these haplogroups fit what we just read about Josephus in the allotment of the Japhetic peoples. Europe, Greece, Italy, Scandinavia. There's no getting around that.
I can
And the
see him
source
sitting
is
in the
Japhetic.
chair right now, just fuming hot.
Right about it. I'm always right. It's like when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So I'm still right because I could have been wrong.
Right. Source: Germanic origins from the perspective of the Y chromosome by Michael Robert St. Clair, Berkeley, spring 2012. Now, according to, real quick before I go back to Josephus, this is how we map out our model. Shem being the D lineages, the Ainu, Japan will be Semites. The Bantu speakers of Africa will be largely Semites. Natufians, PPNB, Pre-Potter NB, Levant will be Semites. The Tibeto-Burmans, the Chiang people, they would have D and E lineages. Ham, AB lineages. The Khoi, the Sun people, the Kadruka population, which we have their DNA, AM13. The Bushmans, early Nilotes. CF lineages, what we just went over. The Dorian Greeks, the Turks. They always like talking about Turkey. The Turks. Han Dynasty, China, early Europeans, and Pacific Islanders. This is how we map it out. by going according to the land allotment and what peoples were there initially and going from there. Y'all just using a bias and assuming that J is the Jewish J marker or the Semitic J marker based off of modern people groups. And David Reich said it the best. You have to tear away the veil, which is the modern populations. And if you're going to discuss ancient populations, you use ancient DNA. It's just that damn simple.
Whenever you go into research with a biased lens, you understand this is the kind of mistakes you're going to end up making. You understand? The brother has an agenda. His agenda is to prove that you and I are not Israelites. And the ability to be able to trace Israelite lineage is impossible. So when you're coming into something with this type of narrative, there are certain biased groups that because those people are trying to substantiate themselves as Jews as well. So we have to take these things into consideration and actually look at the information for what it is.
And on top of that, we got to make them start producing some information, not just running their damn mouth.
Facts. Right. So as we clearly showed you guys with several sources, the Japhites, what their haplogroups will be and where they would be in relation to their land allotment. They would have been in Europe. They would have been in Greece. They would have been in Italy. That's where they would have been. Not in the Levant, not in the Semite territory primarily. We were dominating those areas. All right.
Yeah, man, somebody says this PowerPoint shows it's not about color. Yeah, this colorism is a modern thing, man. Right? And it was developed to bring forth confusion. You understand? So we were talking about this earlier, Joshua. There's been a lot of admixture that has transpired based upon the traveling of the peoples for thousands of years, right? So this colorism is a racist ideology stemming out of modern terminologies and for racist purposes, man. So we got to take these things in consideration. You understand? This doesn't, it's almost like when we say things like that, Joshua, it's as if we're discrediting ourselves. You understand?
Right.
What we're trying to do is just be honest with the information.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So we don't push no colorism up here, man, but Faithful to Gog does. Like, his only issue is he don't want black people claiming to be Semites.
Right.
That's all it is when you break it down. And when you break it down, you guys are the Canaanites. You want us to be cursed people. You know what I'm saying? You want us to be Canaanites because you don't like us. Oh, you Canaanites. That's some racist shit.
Yeah, you want to justify our treatment. Trying to us being enslaved and stuff. He pushing that rabbinical nonsense they was pushing in order to justify our enslavement.
Right. The Canaanites are black, and the reason why they got black skin because it was cursed with it. That's what you're going with. You saying it without saying it.
All right. Sound like a Mormon doctrine.
Facts. All right, let me get this right here popping real quick. Let me go to the Tower of Babel by Bodhi Hodge and read that real quick. All right. If somebody said he's a KK member, period. Oh, he has the Bible. How can he be a KKK? Remember the KK members were Christians.
Yeah.
That was
Stone cold Christian.
They was Christian. They believed, you know what I'm saying, in white Jesus, man. All right, so this is the Tower of Babel by Bodhi Hodge. It's the Greeks. Javan became a great nation and powerful kingdom in the Middle East. Daniel 10 through 11 prophesied of the world empires, 4 beasts that would come in succession. One of them was Greece, led by Alexander the Great. Greeks as a whole colonized many places in the Mediterranean, including the southern parts of Italy. There is Tarshish, the son of Javan, who settled in Spain and in Asia Minor. Tarshish in Spain sits just inside the Mediterranean Sea, which is an ideal place for maritime traders to port while going out and about into Africa and Europe, and beyond places like Sheba around Africa and Arabia, appears Psalm 72 and 10. Tarshish is actually mentioned far more than Greece in the Old Testament. Tarshish was known as a trading center in 2 Chronicles 9:21 and Ezekiel 27 and 10. Some of the goods they were able to trade are mentioned: silver, gold, lead, apes, iron, tin, ivory, and monkeys. Most of the items could be obtained in Africa and Europe and easily be brought to the port of Tarshish for the further trade. Another reference to Tarshish is found in Jonah 1 and 3. Jonah was trying to flee from God's presence, and that did not work. Another son of Javan was Kittim. The island of Cyprus was denoted as Kittim by ancient authors. The Bible often translated Kittim as Cyprus, as in Numbers 24 and 24, Isaiah 23 and 1, Daniel 11 and 30, and others. The descendants of Kittim likely spread by boat to many places, being seafaring peoples. Even one city on Cyprus is called Kition. The last son of Javan was Dodanim or Rodanim. He gave rise to the island of Rhodes in the southern part of Asia Minor, which is the largest of the islands of the Dodecanese, which is populated by the Rhodanum. 2. The famous Colossus of Rhodes, one of the largest statues in the ancient times, is said to have inspired the Statue of Liberty. So we can see these Japhetic people in Greece, in Cyprus, and populating Asia Minor as well. These people would be your Japhites. I've already discussed their DNA. They would have G, they would have I, they would have J. They're all related. J is related to I, G is related to J, so on and so forth. And they go back to one ancestral father, which would be FM89, and CF, which we're calling Japhet. Why? Because Josephus says the early peoples in these lands would be Japhet. That's how we came to that conclusion. You can't get around that.
Hey, let me bring this out real quick, Joshua. I made mention of the Mormon ideology.
Yeah, bring it out, brother.
Yeah, this is 2 Nephi chapter 5, right? 2 Nephi chapter 5, verse 1. It says, the Nephites separated themselves from the Lamanites, keep the laws of Moses. Shalakia kept the laws of Moses and built a temple. Because of their unbelief, the Lamanites are cursed, receiving a skin of blackness and becoming a scourge upon the Nephites. Now check this out. This is 3 Nephi chapter 2, verse 15. It says, and their curse was taken from them, and their skin became white like unto the Nephites. So again, this is racist ideology based upon skin color. Like we see on the screen, it says the PowerPoint shows it is not about skin color. It is not about skin color, but at the end of the day, we can use skin color as an identification marker, at least to put us in certain regions so we can start our research. But the point is that these are racist ideologies that come out of the 1700s, right? So this is that time period's ideology in which most of these brothers teach, because these things were a part of the Bible destruction group. I yield.
Yeah, man. There's a verse, and yeah, you're absolutely right about that skin color doctrine and saying black is a curse, which is highly offensive. Black is not a curse. The whole planet was black at one point. The whole entire planet. There was no Ethan Hawke's out here, man. If y'all remember Training Day, Ethan Hawke was the guy that was training. There was no Ethan Hawke's back then. You know, white skin is something relatively recent. Yeah, that's cool. He can be in that room. Tell him to come on the show real quick. We live right now. We dealing with this information. So yeah, but there's a quote in the book of Jubilees where it says Japhet learned from the Shemites. And it's crazy that that's written in the book of Jubilees, because we can see that these Japhites came into our territory and adopted Semitic culture.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
they had got the article about how J pretty much attached itself to E during the Neolithic.
Right. So when we bring that out, it's showing you that it's the other way around, that these people are, you know what I'm saying? How they're trying to make it is really the other way around. I'm looking for this source real quick to exemplify that, where it talks about they absorb the culture from E markers. Let me find it, man.
Yeah, man, what you're going to have to take in consideration while the brother's looking for that is that when the so-called white Europeans started to travel, he realized something. He realized that the rest of the earth was melanated. And when he found that out, this is when the idea of white supremacy began to be prominent in their eyes. So they started writing literature, which started around about, the literature started really in the 1400s, but it got heavy when you're dealing with certain doctrinal issues when it comes to utilizing the Bible for this mass indoctrination, right? So they started to use images, and it tells us this in the Apocrypha that they would do this. They started to use images. They stole our records and started painting themselves in our records. You understand? So there's a mass confusion concerning that. We were talking to somebody earlier, in the brother was trying to say that the original Israelites were fair skinned, not taking in consideration the admixture that went on based upon the multiple captivities that the children of Israel went in, right? So there's no Israelite that you can look to and say this is the prominent view of what an Israelite would look like, because we came in a range of colors, right? So that idea to also alter certain phenotypes or to limit certain phenotypes based upon certain migration patterns, we have to take these things in consideration based upon admixture, because it went on and it happened, right? So what the brothers is bringing out is powerful in regards to being able to utilize DNA to at least get a roundabout understanding of who these people actually are. Are you?
Facts. All right. He said the Bible also that Japheth would dwell in the tents of Shem. Right. They came to our tents, our localities, our homes, our towns. You don't say Shem went to the tents of Japheth. And that's what we see with Jay introgressing into the Levant, into the Middle East. They coming into our tents, like the Bible says. So again, let's read this right here. This is a source here in Hot Pursuit of Language and Prehistory. And we're going to read the highlighted portion to back up what Kimo just brought up and back up what the book of Jubilees is talking about. It says in the overall pattern is consistent with a model of the first speakers of Afro-Asiatic have emerged in or near the Horn of Africa or in the Nile Valley. The presence of Semitic in the Near East might be explained as follows. Early pre-Proto-Semitic speakers would have migrated into Syro-Palestine before the Neolithic, being taken there by M35 bearers, this is E1B1B, and adopted, here's the key, and adopted by populations bearing M89 lineages. M89 is the FM89 we told you about earlier, the father of all of the early Paleo-Europeans, which would make these people Japhet. They came in and adopted the culture of the haplogroup E markers, which would be the Afro-Asiatic people, which would be the Semites. All right. So from there, let me go back to Josephus. And now we're gonna shift our focus towards Shem and who the Shemites are. We're gonna shift our focus towards Shem because for some reason, when we bring up the Natufians being the proto-Semites, people get stuck on stupid and say, well, Canaan would be in the Levant, and like Shem wasn't already in the goddamn Levant. You guys are slow, man. But we're going to treat you like you're slow and just have to teach you like your children. So we're just going to have to take you back to kindergarten real quick and deal with the rudimentary level of knowledge. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to read Shem. And then we're going to conclude on this. I'm not going to spend all night dealing with this guy's comments. Share the screen. Let's bring it out. All right, and we're going to deal with some geography. You guys are going to get a little history, demography, and geography class today, all right? So let's go to Shem. It says right here, Shem, the third son of Noah, had 5 sons who inhabited the land that began at the Euphrates and reached the Indian Ocean. For Elam left behind the Elamites, the ancestors of the Persians. Asher lived at the city of Nineveh, and named his subjects Assyrians, who became the most fortunate nation beyond others. Arphaxad named the Arphaxadites, who are now called Chaldeans, Aram, and the Aramites, which the Greeks called the Syrians. Now, where is Syria at? Do we need to pull a map out on that? Hold on. Let me get the map out. Where's Syria at, y'all? Maybe you guys don't know where the hell Syria is. On a map. Told you I'm going to take you to geography. All right, Syria is by Jordan, right below Turkey, and by Iraq. Let me share my screen so you guys get that. And the person who made that comment can get it. This is Syria, right below Turkey, next to Iraq, next to the Mediterranean Sea, right above Jordan. That's Syria. All right. So now let's get back to Josephus and continue to read the land allotment of Shem. So it says, as Lud founded the Laudites, which are now called the Lydians. Of the 4 sons of Aram, Uz founded the Trachonitis in Damascus. This country lies between Palestine and Cilicia, right? Now we're going to look up this term right here. Where is this at? Then we're going to read where the Natufians reign. All right. Stop my stream. I'm going to take you guys to geography right now because some people are saying, oh, well, the Natufians in the Levant, they automatically Canaanites, and you don't know the territory and how far the Levant stretch. So when we're dealing with that word, I think the proper pronunciation is Cilicia or Cilicia, right? Well, we just read in Josephus. This is the region that he's referring to. Let me share my screen. Yeah, hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. This is the region he's referring to. Y'all say that Cilicia, that's how it's spelled. This would have been all Semitic territory right here initially. You see Palestine right below it. Palestine and Cilicia. This is what we just read. And Syria above it. This would have been all Semitic originally. You guys follow. All right. So let's go back to Josephus. I'm making this point because these guys act as if There was no Shemites in the Middle East. When we start bringing up
No
DNA,
Shemites in the land of Shem, huh?
and exactly, there was no Shemites in the. So I got to show them on the map, James, where the hell this is at. Who founded Armenia and gathered the Bactrians? Am I still sharing? No, I'm not.
No.
Go back. Ur founded Armenia and gathered the Bactrians. And the thing about Bactrian, I wonder if that's referring to the BMAC culture, because that deals with Bactrians too. We do find our component E components in the Bactrian as well. Messa, Mesech, and Messanians is now called Charax Spasini. Sila, which was the son of Arphaxad, and his son was Eber, from whom they originally called the Jews Hebrews. Eber begot Joktan and Peleg. All right, so, and it says he was called Peleg because he was born at the dispersion of the nations to their several countries, for Peleg among the Hebrews signifies division. Now, Joktan, one of the sons of Eber, had these sons: Almodad, Shelef, Hazarmavet, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzel, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, which is where according to Josephus, the word Africa comes from, Havilah, and Jobab. These inhabited from Kofin, an Indian river, and part of Asia adjoining to it. And this shall suffice concerning the sons of Shem. So
That's
we would have
like
been
all of Southeast and Central Asia, huh?
Yeah. We had a big land allotment. But for these internet guys, when it comes to Shem, they want to put Shem in Georgia, in the Caucasus. We did not read that he was in Georgia and the Caucasus or in Russia, nowhere. Stop it. Y'all got to stop the madness, man. So that's what we're building this off of. The Levantine population and Natufians matter because the Natufians had E haplogroups and we know where they resided. Now we're going to get that next. We're pulling it up next. Where did these Natufians with these E markers reside? Where were their stomping grounds? Now think about what we just read. Syria, Sealy, Syria, Palestine. We just read that's what Shem, the ancient Shemites would have been. We just read that. So we're going to pull up some more documentation because what we do on this channel is bring forth source material. This is why we call it the source. These other dudes are just rhetoric masters, man, and masters of omission. So we're going to go to a book, the Dictionary of the Old Testament. Let's go there and deal with the Natufians and bring out where were they are. Where were these Natufians located? Waiting on the book to load up here. And hopefully the guy that was here, that made that long comment is still here learning.
What did he say?
Oh, but you was here. You was here. He said that all the Noah children were J.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is loaded up. So we're going to go to the part where it talks about the Natufians. This is a book called Dictionary of the Old Testament, the Pentateuch, by Desmond Alexander and David W. Baker. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and pull this up. And we're going to bring this out where the Natufians resided at because it's very pertinent that you know that. All right, this is page 79 to 80 of the Dictionary of the Old Testament. Natufian period, 10,000 to 8300 BC, which may have been centered in coastal Syria and Palestine. Let me read that again. Now, we just read in the Josephus that this would be the stomping ground of the Shemites. Coastal Syria and Palestine would be the stomping ground of the Shemites initially. It's also evidenced along the Middle Euphrates region of Syria at Dipsy Faraj, Nahir El Hamir, Abu Hurayya, and Murray Bit in the Eski Mosul Dam region. This is why I took you through all of that, what we just read about about the Shemites and where they would be and connecting it to the Natufians. Now, let's do this again. I don't know how many times we got to show the breakdown of the Natufians. The Natufians would have had haplogroup E. Let's show that.
E1, B1B, and EP2.
Let's get it. Let's get it. So it all circles back to our point that the Semites would have had haplogroup E. There's no way around it. Those J markers are Japhites. They're related to the early Europeans, and according to Josephus, the early Europeans would have been Japhites. According to Josephus, Syria, or silly Syria, would have been inhabited by the Shemites first. And the earliest populations we see there are Natufians. Y'all see the connection? Now let's get the Natufians' Y DNA. Let me pull up Lazarus. Pull up Lazarus right here. I want the supplementary method so we get right to the DNA and see what these Natufians would have went back to. Give me a minute, family. I'm pulling his papers up. This all impromptu, by the way. All impromptu. We bringing forth these data points because we got naysayers that don't do any scientific research, that don't deal with no deep studies or interdisciplinary studies, but they always want to make claims. They always want to go against us.
And who would have known 7 years ago when I bust them Natufians out and crack Garfield in them head with them Natufians that it'll come out just like this to prove our point so clearly. I just did it because I was like, man, I'm surprised I found this. And then we dug more and more into it, and look what we turned it into, a whole model, a whole scientific model for the basis of the sons of Noah. And you can't refute it. Look at what we're doing. We can sequence it with the Josephus. You know what I'm saying? We can take the archaeological data with the genetic data, and we can show it out to the T who all these people is, and they still trying to argue. Why? Because they can't handle that we are the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's all. They don't want us to be nowhere near that lineage. They don't want us to have nothing to do with that lineage. It's eating them up inside. They want us to be Ham so bad.
Facts. Which is predicated upon racism and colorism. Oh, you black, you Canaan. Because the curse of Canaan. That's all that's going back to. Racism. We dealing with actual scholarship and employing methodology to come to our conclusions. All right, so this is Lazarus 2016. You guys all seen it about the genomics of ancient Near Easterners. Now, we just showed you that Natufians would have had what? They would have been in what areas? In the coastal Syria regions and in Palestine. We know that because we see the material culture. What DNA they have? E1B1B, E1B1, which is progenitor what? That's why it says X, E1B1A1 and E1B1B1 because it can produce E1B1A or E1B1B.
And we are E1B1A1.
Exactly. Israel, what does it say right here? These 5 samples, Israel, Natufian. The other 2 are C2 because CT because they couldn't sequence it completely. But these are the Natufians. We have their DNA and we know where they were. They were in the same land allotment that we see in the book of Josephus. I mean, in Josephus' account of the Shemites. Period. I'm going to stop it right there. Anybody got anything they want to bring out before we close?
Man, what can be said, bro? You done closed the door on it, man. We done presentation after presentation on it, man. And if they not willing to come in here, have this discussion, or take the time to look at the videos, then come back with a better argument than Jay is Shim, then they need to go ahead and get this up because they out their league right now, man.
And man, we need to be aware of certain tactics that are being utilized, right? People, Negroes come in here and purposely start arguments to negate the information that's coming out. This has been a continuous practice that I've seen for the last 2 years, right? Let's just deal with the information and let the information come out and go point by point. I don't understand why brothers don't want to come to the table and actually learn. But you got a presupposition. You want to be right instead of being right. You know?
Right, man. That's the sad part, man. Like at the end of the day, like your stance is on rhetoric and racism. Our stance is on what we can prove and the data that we even brought forth. It's just that simple. Jay will always be Japhetic, period, and E will always be Semitic. They're the Afro-Asiatic speakers, Proto-Semite people. They are the reasons why you have Semitic people and Semitic culture. They brought it forth. J. Marcus didn't have Semitic culture. They had Indo-Aryan languages and around people that would eventually bring forth Indo-European languages.
Yeah,
I need to see Jacob's actual DNA records. You can't produce that, can you, brother? That's the kind of rhetoric I be talking about, Joshua, man.
Right. But guess what we can show you? Where these people say they were, we can show you the DNA there and connecting them with the Natufians and show that they related to us. Not no damn J Marcus, man. The J Marcus are Japhites. They the Greeks, they the Italians, they the early, you know what I mean? They the early, I believe James brought forth one in Finland. He had a J marker in Finland.
Yeah, they were related to them Hurrians and stuff that got ran out of Mesopotamia, them Indo-European speakers that was in there tearing up stuff, causing wars and stuff.
Right.
But how can these people have E markers when they practicing Hamitic culture? See what I'm saying? You want to base the people's identity solely on cultural practices, and you can't do that. That's just one element of the research, man. Damn.
Yeah, culture.
I would argue it wasn't even Hamitic culture because Hamitic hunters and gatherers, they was in there farming.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's one of the arguments that they try to use. You know what I'm saying, Jay? Is like if we don't see Israelites practicing Israelite culture, then that means they're not an Israelite.
Yeah, the dumb culture argument.
But yeah, great job, Joshua, man. James, great job.
I'm gonna answer this brother question with an article real quick, and we're gonna prove who Ham is real quick and real fast, man, with scientific data. You notice I didn't do too much, I don't need to go into no deep scriptural breakdown for this. We just look at what we can find in these areas that are purported to be Cushites. That's how we're gonna figure out and deduce who the Hamites are. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna show you this. This is from University of Khartoum, and the geneticist is Muntaser, right? And the paper is called Genetic Patterns of Y Chromosome Mitochondrial DNA Variation with Implication to the Peopling of the Sudan, right? This is where you would get your Cushites from. So I'm going to go straight to it with the presence of who was there. It says to generate Y chromosome specific haplogroups AM13, BM60, FM89, and YAP markers, which define the deep ancestral haplotypes and phylogenetic tree of Y chromosome were used. Haplogroup AM13 was found at high frequencies among Neolithic samples. So the first people among Sudan or Northern Sudan, which would be the Kushites, would have haplogroup A M13. That's how we deduce that. So the Kushites will be haplogroup A. What's the brother haplogroup to A? B. So all of these people would be Hamites. Right. Shumlaka in Cameroon, the first people in sub-Saharan Africa were haplogroup A and B. So we cluster them as Hamites. All right. So I'm going to drop it there. But there's the paper. If you want to write that paper down real quick, go ahead. Genetic patterns of Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA variation with implications to the peopling of the Sudan. All right, with that, we're gonna conclude, man. Hey, shalom to everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You know how we rocking, man. 7 gang, source gang over everything. It ain't a debate. It's a stick up. Let's get it.
For real.
Let's get it, man.
Love it, man.
Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. No, we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah. Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. When we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah. The wait's over the takeover, cause Judah's back. Yes. Rolling down the boulevard in a Cadillac. Yes. We here to kick much ass, so what you smiling at? Understand your reign is at an end like a cul-de-sac. Uplifting my nation is my motivation. Don't get contaminated by the radiation. Yes. I never let you change my thoughts from high to basic. I'm here to tell you downfall like the prophets need me. I'm always throwing up the fold. No, we go hard, I'm here to let them boys know. No, we gon' ride, and I mean for life. Can't handle Judah, cause Judah too live. We the illest nation, a target for all the hate and a spark for innovation. They follow, no hesitation. Stop your complaining, we just invading, picking up all of the labor. They never gon' fade us, coming together no matter the problems or weather. Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. No, we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah. Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. When we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah.
Hold up, leaning out the window, throwing foes. Killing all the lies, yeah, the truth get exposed. Life of an Israelite staying on the path. Bruise pulling up, dress code, holding staffs. Daily we stay draped up and friends that know what I'm talking about. Judah from the south, y'all's oracles come out my mouth. Leaning on the promise, double cup of living waters. Yahweh lead the charge, waking up your sons and daughters. Sticking to the scripts, I ain't talking about no movie. Ecclesiastes 12:13, Call of Duty. Room full of shooters, streets full of runners, calling sinners to repentance. We hear the roaring thunder, we banging on the enemy. Yahweh is the remedy, perfect with the judgments. To slump you like a Kennedy, I represent the South. Righteous with maneuvers. When I'm talking Southern Kingdom, then I'm talking about Judah. Hold up.
Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. No, we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah. Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. When we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah.
Throw them foes up, Judah on the rise. He just trying to suppress. I royal play shine. I pay haters no mind. Hamashiach is light. Jacob's trouble is bubbling, so Judah get it right. Repentance I'm teaching, open books so no cheating. Stop trying to find a reason, cause Christ will leave your body leaking. Your odor is reeking, yeah, the kingdom I'm seeking. Yeah, this is the fishing season. Next up is killer season. Put on the whole armor, Ephesians 6 and 11. If you're trying to make it to heaven, you gotta purge that leaven. Go ahead and check your reverend. Drop your idol, I mean reverend. I ain't taking shots at reverend, but really check your reverend. Judah been led astray. Watch now repent and pray. Hey, store up treasures in heaven, and Christ gon' love it, man. This is all facts, no fiction. Lyrical crucifixion. Repent for the kingdom of heaven. I forgot to mention.
Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. No, we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah. Boys looking good, throw the foes out the window. When we starting all the trends, keep the people on tempo. I represent the South, know we house the sharpshooters. When I talk about the South, know I'm talking about Judah.
South, know I'm talking about Judah. Hold up. Foes up. Throw them foes, throw them foes up, foes up, foes up, throw them 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 foes up.
Hey, Sean, show over with, man. We out of here.
I see. Shalom to the panel. Shalom to everybody in the chat.
Shalom, man.
Yes, sir. Shalom. All
right, y'all. Shalom. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hey, and y'all get ready, man, because we trying to get this tournament popping. $500 reward to the winner. So if any of you guys are interested, man, hit us up on Facebook, social media, Clubhouse, or what have you. You guys can enter into the tourney. I'm hosting. Jeremiah hosting. Hey, and let the best man win. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we about to start doing the promotions on that thing ASAP, man. Putting the shit together now, man. Y'all support. Put the word out, man. Bring your scholarship, man.
Yeah, let's get it, man. Source Gang, 7 Gang over everything. You know we rocking, man. Gang.
Tanks on the ground.
For real.